Sam back with Chris for your second HCW podcast. Hi there, Chris. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Sam. What are you doing?
Not so bad, not so bad. So, since we've last had one, we've had Collision, and Collision on the card looked good, but it was not a card that we were used to. We just had 6 straight single matches. We didn't have any tags, we didn't have any triple threats, no gimmick matches, but there was still a couple of interesting matches on the card, what looked like. So we start with the confrontation that we've all been waiting for. Ted DiBiase Jr. and Shawn Michaels. Yeah. So that was a pretty hurried apology by Shawn. I think I don't really think he wanted to apologise, but Junior made him. What did you make of Shawn's stab at an apology?
Well, I guess you couldn't really expect much of an apology from Shawn. It's not his style, but you get what you get, and Shawn got what he had coming to him because Junior gave him a match against Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, we saw that. Shawn, I don't really think he's interested in Jeff Hardy, but he's gonna have to deal with him at Champions Glory. Jeff Hardy versus Shawn Michaels. We'll get to that. Shawn doesn't really look too bothered about it at the minute, but I'm sure as a couple of collisions go on, it'll build, because it's been building for a while. I think. When did these two start? When did Shawn come back?
Uh, 2 shows ago.
Was it the awards?
Yes, I believe it was the award show. He picked up. He took somebody's award.
Yeah, that was right. So that's been building for a while, and it'll come to a head at Champions Glory. It may continue on, who knows? But the first match was, oh man, Matt Morgan versus Chris Jericho. Well,
Yeah,
went on longer than I thought it would.
yeah, it did go quite a while. I did not expect a 23-minute match out of Matt Morgan.
To be honest, I've said this before, the guy sucks. Well and truly. Don't know how he managed to win 2 matches. Sheamus causing the distraction, code breaker, yeah, 3.25 stars. Not too bad. You wouldn't expect that high out of two men of such contrasting style, would you? Really? Uh, so what was next?
We had Batista versus Drake Younger. Drake's debut match.
Yeah, new Wolfpack member, not really going with the Wolfpack code of honor, which is sort of getting cheered and playing by the rules. Batista just did what he wanted to do.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting addition to the Wolfpack.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't know. I was surprised that Drake had Batista on the ropes there.
yeah. And then the low blow.
Yeah, Batista had the cheat. I mean, Drake still gets the win, but not the way he wanted.
Yeah.
From the
So
looks of it, I'll be facing again next week, so we'll see how that goes.
yeah, no disqualification by the looks. But next we've got the if you like, one of the most senior figures of the Wolfpack, Sting, versus the Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. We talked on the last podcast about the good debut of Buddy Rogers. He's just ruined it for himself, really. I would say. One 151. It's like watching a Zack Ryder match, something like that. Heath Slater match, but yeah, 151. Not what?
Not much to say about that.
No. Hold on a second. You've got coming up trumps for Sting, again, half a star rating. Yeah, so one match had a 3/4 star rating, one match had a half a star rating, but we got back into gear with a good match between Edge and Jeff Hardy.
Yep.
Edge and Jeff Hardy, and perhaps the slight favourite in the match, Edge came up trumps, spear, 1, 2, 3. Nice victory for Edge.
Yep. Seems like Edge can pick up wins, but can never really win the big one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought that. He's always stopped one short of being like a HCW, like, great. He's currently very good, but he's never been a HCW great, you know.
Oh,
He's
when I first began playing HCW, it's actually pretty interesting because Christian and Edge have both been Universal Champion before. So I know Edge can win it.
oh, that was probably before my time, but Edge,
Oh, yeah. Very, very long time ago, many moons ago.
yeah, Edge, Money in the Bank winner. Money in the Bank. It seems to me like we've had maybe 5 winners, only 4 of them. Only one of them's actually been a successful cash-in.
God bless him.
Edge, couldn't cash in. Or did he cash in on the Universal Edge?
Edge cashed in for a different title. I think he cashed in for the Crimson Death match.
Oh yeah, but I think he got a Universal title match while he had the briefcase on Kurt Angle. Oh yeah, he cashed in on Perfect. Yeah, and only got. Next match was what got the highest rating? Shawn Michaels versus Dolph Ziggler.
Great match.
Great match. Oh, but could have gone either way. But the difference maker was, of course, Foley's new head of security. What do you know outside of HCW capacity about Titan? Do you know a lot about him?
Not very much, honestly.
I must admit I have to have a hasty Google Wikipedia check on Titan because I had no clue who he is. Where's he been? Is he a former wrestler? Is he some that's been on some enforced show? I don't know. Just oh man. But he made the difference. Post Ziggler back in the ring. Shawn pinning the 2 members of the current generation in 2 weeks. Shawn's back. Shawn ready.
Always able to pick up big wins. Not a shocker that he beat Cody. Not a shocker that he beat Dolph. Could have been either way in either match.
Correct. Uh, Ziggler just adding more problems to his. Adding more fuel to the fire with Mick Foley. So it would seem just stealing Foley's bodyguard off him. But Foley just ups the ante, puts another roadblock in the way of Dolph Ziggler. What are you making of the Ziggler Foley feud so far, Chris? How's it going for you?
It seems like Ziggler's got legitimate beef with Foley, and he's had it for a while after feeling like he's been held back and screwed over time and time again. And I don't know. I think Foley might get a comeuppance. It's much more interesting. It's a different kind of feud than what Foley has gone with in the past. Normally, it's people wanting to end Foley's career in ring. This one's more about wanting to just get rid of Foley in general.
Yeah, Ziggler just sees Foley as a tumour that needs to be cut out from HCW. Could he be the man to do it? Well, that's his record on collisions, fusions might not be great, but he has not been defeated by pinfall on a pay-per-view since the 1st of January 2011. Not a lot of people know that. That is a long, long time. So, yeah. So Ziggler Foley, hopefully it can happen. I'm not sure. But, yeah. So, And then what happened after that? Daniel Bryan versus Dean Ambrose. Hold on a second. Problems there, but we were on Dean Ambrose versus Daniel Bryan. Looks set to be a good main event on paper, but it wasn't.
Yeah, coach disqualification loss kind of sucks.
Yeah, and I mean, well, Matt Morgan, you know, what was he doing, really? Interfering in main events.
I guess it's not over between Morgan and Bryan.
Yeah, and then, well, poor Bryan, he got his ass handed to him by Morgan, and then he got his ass handed in by the Shield. A carbon footprint and a triple powerbomb. He
This
made,
was after Matt Morgan lost the Shield. Daniel Bryan knocked off the Shield. Just the way it is.
yeah, Bryan bore the brunt of the Shield's anger towards Morgan. Bryan, he got the DQ victory. You know, well done, but it didn't end well for him. Yeah, so that was a shame. And then we go down and we get to a couple of posts, just Ziggler negotiating with Henry, and then we stutter to Bryan challenging challenging Morgan again, asking Foley to give him another match, and then we get to the Fusion card. Oh, right. Only a 5-match card, but there's a lot of people involved in it.
Yeah, 2 6-man tags.
Yeah, 6-man elimination tags. Start at the top. The NWO, represented by John Cena, The Rock, and Bret Hart, against the self, what's the word? Oh man, something,
Self-proclaimed.
self-proclaimed best global champion in history, most dominant global champion in history, Vader.
I think he makes top 5. If
Yeah,
not number 1.
we discussed this last week about Vader and his most dominant global champion moniker, and then we go to Triple H's kind of protege, Sean O'Haire, who has had a mixed start in HCW. He's had a couple of good wins. He's had a couple of wins that you'd think, wow, you know, he's done well to win that, and then he's had a couple of performances where you think, I thought he was a bit better than that.
Yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag for Sean O'Haire in HCW. And what do you think of the mystery partner?
The mystery partner is interesting. Who knows what could happen with that? Looking through the roster, I think Regal's out of options. I don't know who could be the mystery partner. Who would want to team up with Vader and Sean O'Haire? I don't know. Uh, two pretty arrogant, two pretty arrogant managers. You know, maybe we're seeing a new ally for the. Well, I wouldn't like to say, but I don't know who the mystery partner is. But I think we'll soon find out on Fusion. So 6-man elimination tag, and then
Who do you pick? Who do you pick to win that match?
oh, the mystery partner certainly is the X factor in it. Without that, it's hard to pick. I think the New World Order looks strong. Cena, you know, always good. Rock is lately just on fire. He beat Vader. He did a good job. Brett, he had a tough loss against Wade last week. He's going to be
Gonna
one.
be one.
I think the HCW got the edge. I mean, mm, unless the mystery partner is like something big, something special, I think NWO might take it away right here.
Yeah, quite possibly. Then we got, poor old Wade Barrett has landed himself in a handicap match. He's got the deal with Tori Wilson and Kane. Man, poor Wade. What's he gonna do?
I
Think he can win this?
no, I think he's gonna lose.
You think he's gonna lose?
I mean, the only way he's gonna win is if he throws Kane out of the ring and bullhammers Corey Wilson. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Kane's gonna get in the ring, break things up. Corey Wilson can be a distraction, and maybe they'll build some momentum. I don't see Wade Barrett coming out on top.
no. Wilson,
Does win, it'll be by disqualification.
yeah. Wilson and Kane are due a win. They haven't had the most success thus far, but they've got the chance to get up the totem pole on HCW with a relatively, well, not easy. It's not beating Wade Barrett is not easy, but the deck's stacked in their favour. It's theirs to lose. It's their match, to try and win. But we go to Mr. Kennedy versus Bill Goldberg. But
Kennedy.
balls count anywhere.
Okay.
Ooh, who do I pick? You know what? I pick Kennedy.
That's my pick with Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior at his side in a false count anywhere match. I don't care if it's Bill Goldberg. He's got no chance.
He hasn't got much chance. No. Uh, it. Yeah, I think Goldberg obviously is an impressive competitor. Blah blah blah. But Kennedy, he's one of the HCW greats. Goldberg is not.
No.
Goldberg's obviously one of the real wrestling greats, and Kennedy is not. But HCW, it's a different ballgame. I see Kennedy walking out with the win.
Yeah, that's my pick too. I think Goldberg is gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, Goldberg over there on his he's not got any backup. He could false count anywhere. Does it, there's no rules to stop interference. Warrior and Savage that can beat up Goldberg anywhere they like. Yeah, interesting. And then we go to a new concept. Never seen this before. Born to be wired.
I have not seen this live, but I have seen Drake in a couple of these matches, and they are gruesome.
They are gruesome. Big Show versus Great Muta. Another chapter in there.
Nice little rivalry.
It is, yeah. It's not. It's been a pretty spread out feud. It's not been them at each other's throats week after week. It hasn't resulted in a pay-per-view main event, anything like that. But a feud doesn't have to be good. We've seen that with plenty of them. Uh, yeah, it's turning nice. It's turning nice. Born to be wired.
Do you think this is the feud right here? Do you think this whoever wins here just wins the feud,
Oh,
or do
one
you think they get
needs
at the pay-per-view one more?
quite possibly. I think if uh Big Show wins, might that might stem another match. If Muta wins, that because Heyman's banned from ringside. I don't know which way this will go, but Big Show can deal with two men at once, especially if one of them's Paul Heyman. But Heyman's not there. Big Show just needs to focus on Muta. He can use his right hand, which he couldn't when he got beat off Muta. Disqualification. There's no time limit. Big Show's about to beat Muta in that beat the clock. No time limit on this. Big Show probably looks the favourite to me.
I think so too. I think without Heyman at ringside to cause distraction, I think Big Show could, really take care of Muta and just get the job done. Especially since he can use the weapon of mass destruction. That's his go-to move right there. Wins him so many matches here.
Yeah.
My pick Show as well, but I want to see this feud continue. I want to see a pay-per-view match, and then I think I'll be ready for it to be over.
Yeah, but they had a match at the awards. Super Show, which is bigger than a Fusion, but is smaller than a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I think Muta won that one. That was the second match. There was one match on Fusion, which Big Show won with the weapon of mass destruction, and it was all, oh, you can't use that, and then Muta won, and then they had the draw. So this will put. I'm guessing this is only to be won by pinfall or submission, is it?
Yes, I believe so.
So somebody's going up to 2 wins. My guess is the Big Show. Muta's got his work cut out, but you never know. You never know. And then we go to our main event.
One more 6-man elimination tag.
The British Invasion, represented by the 3 men who are co-holders under the Freebird rule of the Synergy Tag Team titles.
That's quite a trio right there.
You've got the viciousness and the brutality of Paul Burchill, you've got the technical ability of Doug Williams, and you've got the young, still learning, still improving part of the future of HCW, Brutus Magnus. But on the other side, you've got Shane Douglas, #1 contender, and you've got Black Magic, who we have not heard much from lately.
After we picked up a couple good wins too.
Yeah, this could be the Invasion. Have a knack of getting into tag teams and ending them. We've seen that with Awesome Truth. Their last match was against the Invasion. The Beautiful People, their last match was against the Invasion. So, Black Magic, this might be their final chance to do something impressive. Alongside, obviously, we know Shane Douglas. Past few years, he's been, very, very up there. Yeah, I think my prediction is the Invasion.
Yeah. Asian.
I think O'Neil and King may have an early exit. Douglas might get an elimination, but I think, Douglas has beat Burchill a couple of times, once by DQ. We might see Magnus and Williams as so no disrespect to Burchill, but I fancy that, I pick out of the 3, I would pick him last. I would want Magnus and Williams. Burchill, he likes his DQ losses, does Paul Burchill.
But hit somebody with a chair, he's easy to pin, right?
Yeah, Yeah, I think we've seen that quite a bit in elimination tags. But Paul Burchill, pretty narrow-minded, probably won't go to a chair, probably just end up holding the rope and not causing much damage. But we'll see. Hopefully Burchill can change, because he can be a very big factor. He's beaten people like Edge and I've forgotten who else he's beaten, but he's beaten a few good competitors, but he's lost to them by DQ. But now there's Fusion, but now we go to the few matches announced, the Champions Glory, your Cody Rhodes' pay-per-view, your guy. We've heard a few things, we've got a theme for it.
Yeah, we just got a thing announced for it. I think I picked out a Champions by Ken Rudolph.
Yeah, I mean, that song got the word champions in it. It's a go-to kind of simple pick. It's a good song. It sums up what the night's all about. Champions picking their own stipulations. You know, all about Cody Rhodes, the main man at the minute, the Universal Champion, but he's got to step in the ring with Shane Douglas, the franchise, the number one contender.
See, now I see it the other way. I see it as Shane Douglas has to step in there with the franchise of HCW, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
Because at this point, Cody Rhodes is no longer an underdog. No matter who he faces, I don't see how you consider him an underdog.
we discussed this shortly last time, but we need to discuss this at length this time. Cody Rhodes has been through a lot in his reign. You know, you'd have never expected him to beat Angle, least of all 2-0 in a 2 out of 3 stages of hell. You know, Cesaro, you know, he went in as the underdog there. All the un-Americans came out on top. Taz had beat him before. You know, Steiner was doing very, very well. Was picked by a few. And then, obviously, who was after that? Portugal was after? No.
Well, after that, yeah.
Was that right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we had quite a gap, didn't we, between. Yeah.
He didn't do anything at the World Super Show.
No. I got beat off Edge.
Yes, he faced Edge in a non-title match. And Cody did lose. That was a big win for Edge, but he couldn't get it done when he was inside of Pot of Gold. So Cody walked away with the belt and beaten pretty much half of the roster at this point.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of people left for, you know, Shane Douglas is one that he's already beat.
Yeah, that's
1-on-1, it's completely different. You know, Cody Rhodes essentially won the match by running away. That obviously he competed in the match, he climbed over, but he won the match by escape, and he's got to go out and pin someone, which we know he can do. But pinning someone and defeating them in a steel cage match are two different things, two very different things. So, and then we go to one that we've talked about, Edge and Christian. Christian gone AWOL, so it would seem, Chris.
yeah, kind of going off the radar. It's kind of expected of Christian though. He's kind of a lone wolf and he's kind of crazy and off the wall. And
Yeah,
I really think he thinks that he doesn't want to fight Edge.
yeah, but there's got to be a bit of him somewhere that's maybe thinking this guy, he's my brother, blah blah, but he speared me, he's hit me with a concerto, he's willing to do these things to me, I should be willing to do these things to him. That's a way that I would look at it. Christian, will we see him on this collision? Maybe not. Um, will we see him at the pay-per-view? I think so. I think so.
I think so. I don't think he will not wrestle Edge. I know that he will wrestle him, but I don't know if he'll be in the right mindset to wrestle him. I don't know if he'll be able to fight him. I think Edge will go out there to fight him, and Christian will go out there to wrestle, and it won't end well for Christian.
And then one that we've already talked about, Hardy HBK. It's a singles match at the minute. HBK been doing well since he came back. Hardy hasn't got hasn't got HBK's number at the minute. HBK's had a couple of kind
I
of
think HBK's got the advantage, no doubt.
yeah
Definitely has all the momentum, and he's definitely in Hardy's head, not the other way around.
yeah. So I would an early pick. You know, it's hard to pick between Edge and Christian. Hard to pick between Douglas and Rhodes at this stage. I think I can make an early prediction that HBK is going to walk out of Bound for Glory with his arm in the air raised. I think I can make that assumption already. No disrespect to Hardy's, great competitor, but HBK is better than Hardy.
Agreed.
We see potential matches for Champions Glory, ones that haven't been announced. You know, we've still got a few title matches to be announced.
Yep, only one match has been announced.
Yeah. So, by the looks of things, The Rock, you know, is after Vader. You know, we could see Rock v Vader for the global title.
Yeah, that could happen. I mean, Brock could definitely beat Vader. We've seen it happen, obviously.
Yeah. He could quickly shut Vader up about being the. Not that I want him to necessarily, but he could very easily end Vader's illusion that he's the most dominant global champion in HCW. And
Definitely.
another one that we've been seeing lately is Matt Morgan. Just again, Matt Morgan's just probably the most angry person in HCW at the minute. You know, he carbon footprints cameras, he carbon footprints lockers, he carbon footprints Daniel Bryan.
He has
He's
some anger issues.
yeah. It, you know, it's hard to talk about him in a negative light as he is my character, but he's rubbish, really. He's absolute garbage. He can't win a match. He's won 2 matches. One, I don't know how he managed to win. It was some Ultimate X match, I think, against Kingston, Bryan, and Ambrose, and he won that.
Yeah,
He beat
ridiculous that he would have won the X Divi- or Ultimate X match, but
all 7 foot, 350 pounds of him, managed to win that. Yeah. And then he beat Bryan in a non-title match. So technically, him and Bryan are 2-2. But Morgan's non-title form has been well atrocious.
yes.
I mean, it's not through. He's not. He's faced people. He's faced good people. You know, he's not faced sort
Not
of.
like he faced Cody Rhodes on his first night.
He faced Cody Rhodes. He faced Dolph Ziggler at the awards. He's faced Batista, Chris Jericho. None of these are right at the bottom of the HCW totem pole. You know, up the other end. You know, there's people that I can look at on the Collision roster and think Morgan could surely beat him. You know, not
Yeah.
naming any names, but I think Ambrose is after Morgan too. Morgan, you know, got a win over Ambrose. Okay, it wasn't pinfall, but I think Morgan isn't done with the CDM title yet. Whether
Yeah.
whether or not he's allowed another shot, probably not. But I don't think Morgan particularly cares. I think he'll even carbon footprint fully himself if he doesn't, and Titan if he doesn't get his own way.
Yeah.
So
Ooh. Not sure who Ambrose is going to be facing.
no, there was a little idea that I think maybe Spirit brought up about a 6-man match on American Shield. Winner walks out, international title. Seemed like a good idea, but that went ignored. Ambrose has the choice, not the choice of opponents, but you, as Ambrose, have the choice of a stipulation. You know,
Yeah, not sure what the match would be in Ambrose's favor. Maybe a dog collar match.
you know what match would be in Ambrose's favour?
What?
Handicap match.
Ah, the Shield.
The Shield got. I don't know how Reigns and Rollins would feel about that. Just protecting Ambrose. Who knows? As I understand it, it's Collision's shot at the. We'll move on to that. It's Collision's shot at the tag titles.
Ooh,
Uh,
Ambrose or Rollins and Reigns.
there's
The
a
champions of WWE. Time for HCW.
massive pool of tag teams. There's okay, the Wyatts no longer there, but you've still got, you know, any combination of the Wolfpack. There's 2 combinations you can have there out of Sting, Batista, Kofi, Sin Cara. You know, 4 men in the Un-Americans, you can have any of them. Sheamus, Jericho, Cage, and
Would be interesting to see the United Coalition do battle with each other.
it would, yeah.
possibly see some tension if the Un-Americans took the British Invasion's titles.
Yeah, yeah, we'll cross that at the minute. Who knows? So is that all? Is that all the tag teams? What?
Yeah,
Un-Americans,
for the most part, on Collision, yes.
but they're not and the Shield, but they're not tag teams. None of them are tag teams. They're 3 members or more. They are factions, if you will. Yeah. So that about covers the tag team situation, and I haven't seen any other. Maybe I haven't seen any other real hints at a match for Champions Glory. The 5 title matches, the 2 that we've mentioned, the Hardy HBK and the Edge Christian. And we talked about Big Show Muta being a possible match. I'd love that to happen if they have one final go. But Champions Glory, there's not a lot being announced for it, but I'm expecting that to pick up very soon.
Yeah, 2 final weeks before the show, we'll definitely have a lot more matches announced. We'll have contenders for the titles, and the card will start to shape up.
And hopefully we have plenty of matches, and hopefully we can get a match on the pre-show this time, because we had a lot of people in matches on, what was last pay-per-view called? Oh man, no, it wasn't. Oh crap. What was the last pay-per-view called?
On Zero?
Ground Zero. I shouldn't be forgetting that. We had a lot of people in normal matches, Ground Zero, no pre-show matches. We spread it about. Rhodes can be the guest on his pre-show. Hopefully we can have a good pre-show, but the main show is slowly taking shape, and like you said, it's going to pick up. So Champions Glory is on the horizon, and it is looking very good. But
Yep, that's a great show.
we're still waiting for your stipulation on Rhodes Douglas.
Well, I know the stipulation. I plan on posting it sometime, maybe on Fusion, maybe on Next Collision. We'll see.
Why not announce it right here on the HCW? No, you can do it in character form. By the way, we have people begging to be guests on this. Sean wants to be a guest.
Nice. Well, here's a little spoiler. It will be 2 out of 3 falls, but I will not give you guys the stipulations.
Oh, well, there you have it. You don't get things like this anywhere else, but on the HCW podcast. Well, it's been good. Can't believe we've done, wait a sec, 15, 20, 25, 40 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, 40 minutes.
Yeah. So, thank you all for listening. I know we've had quite a good number of views on the first one. Hopefully you enjoy this one. When will we be back on air? When will we be back on air? Fusion, Collision. Shall we say when the next Fusion card's out for the following Fusion, so we have 2 shows to
discuss again?
Does that sound good to you?
Good to me.
So we'll probably see you that's probably going to be in early July now, possibly? Yeah. Yeah. Early mid-July. So we'll see you then. I've been Sam Carter, that's been Christy